Okay, let's start part two. We're going to go over the swirl parameters, which is actually where the fun part is. But there was something I forgot to discuss in part one, and that's these wrap offsets. Let me show you what that does. So here we have a very plain vanilla trail, and I'm going to turn the Shift X up, and I'm going to turn it up pretty high. Okay, so they just sort of go off the frame. Wrap offsets, kind of whatever goes off frame comes around the other side, so you get stuff like this. And it's very useful for a lot of different things, and as you'll see shortly. So I'm gonna turn this back to this sort of normalish, not a lot going on effect, and let's discuss swirl. So swirl strength is the first thing, and that basically starts to push stuff around in this swirly pattern, and if you hit it harder, it swirls it harder. Oh, I have some things on that I shouldn't have on. Okay, so if you swirl it lesser, it still swirls, but just less. Or you can do it in the negative direction, and they all kind of just go in a different direction. Swirl frequency is how tight those swirls are. So if I lower it, see the swirls are larger. If I lower it more, the swirls become very large. And if I raise it up, we get lots of teeny tiny swirls. Okay, and if I hit the strength harder, they sort of move faster. But notice that these swirls, pardon me, these swirls are sort of, even though the video is moving through them, they're sort of staying still. That's what swirl speed does. It makes these swirls sort of evolve. See, they still have tiny swirls, but they're sort of moving around a little bit. Let's turn the speed up a little more, and you'll see they evolve even more. Let's turn the frequency down and get bigger evolving swirls. So you get these nice effects with combinations of swirl frequency and swirl speed. I'm going to turn this swirl speed back down so we get these static curls again, so you can see what swirl detail does. See, now the swirls are very smooth. Okay, these nice smooth swirls. As we turn this detail up, the swirls themselves become distorted. Okay, and you can add more and more distortion. It doesn't look that pretty when it's staying still, but you start to add some of these other things back in, and you get very organic looking shapes. It starts looking like oil on water sort of thing. Now, the last couple of things are swirl warp and swirl speed, and they're a little difficult to explain. But I'm going to go back to I'm going to turn the detail down. Okay, so here we are again with these very static swirls. So the swirls are moving, but the centers of these swirls, these little pinwheels, aren't moving around, and they're also all the same size. Actually, let's make them a little smaller and let it settle. So here they're all kind of the same size. What swirl warp does is it makes some of them larger and some of them smaller. See, here's a large one and here's some small ones. But the largeness and smallness are staying still. This is still a large one. These are still small ones. And that's what swirl warp speed does. It changes where the larges and smalls are. So now we have varying sizes, and the varying sizes are moving around. And if we turn up the speed, the varying sizes move around more. And we can still add our swirl speed to this and make the underlying swirls evolve on top of that. So you get all these things working together. Now you can add some of the earlier things that we did, like add the swirl, the hue shift, and increase the saturation, and you get stuff like this. Now, Luminance Expand doesn't really belong in the swirl group, but that's where it is. And it takes the brighter parts of the feedback and sort of expands them. You can see it turns them into like looking like paint. Okay, so that's what that does. And I think that's everything. The only thing left is the alpha source, and we'll go over that in the next one, and that's important if you don't have Magic Mask. Okay, see you in the next one.